Hi everyone, it's Andrea, and today I'm going on with a mixed media piece on my index card dividers. And here I'm putting down some modeling paste through a stencil, and this stencil is barbed wire one from Dutch Doobadoo. Haven't heard about them before, so that's quite a nice one. It's a bit delicate when you clean it, but at the end I really liked it. And as you could see, on top I put 3 lines down, but I wanted to have it a bit wider, so I removed the third line, and you won't see it afterwards, so I will cover it anyway, so that doesn't matter. What I'm trying to do here is to get a gap. It should look like something is taking this barbed wire in the middle apart and will open up. At the moment, it's all down to imagination, but you will see what I will do with it at the end. So now I gesso it. I put quite a thin layer on top that I'm not clogging up the stenciled parts, because I wanted to have that fairly visible. And I protect the middle part now with this painter's tape. That's a bendable one. It's very flexible, and that's absolutely perfect for what I want with this to cover this part. These are the colors I'm using. And the best thing with this tape actually is, before you stick it down to the paper, that's what I do. I stick it onto my trousers 2 or 3 times to make it less sticky, to make sure that the paper won't be damaged after I remove it from it. So don't wonder why it's everything so dark. I wanted to have the outside areas really, really dark, dull, and sad looking. The edges I left in really dark or in the black, and then I used a bit of grey and this violet closer to the middle. It's only a hint of violet, you won't see a lot of it afterwards. And I use a bit of white to have it a tiny bit lighter there, but it should look really awfully dark. You will see afterwards why. Actually, I was in such a bad mood when I made that, because since a few days we have an awful weather here. It was raining the whole day, really the whole day, raining cats and dogs, and I really hate that. I don't need hot weather, but I really need the sun. And today, the first day that the sun came out a bit, so I'm happier now. But this developed out of my really, really deep, bad mood, and you will see afterwards what I was hoping for. Here on top of that, I use a blue distress stain, or paint. That's distress paint. But the problem with the paint, I'd quite like to use it. The problem, but when it's dry, it's not really shiny. And I wanted to have this middle part really, really shiny and bright, and it wasn't really working with the stain and distress paint. So you will see at the end I paint over it. I was so frustrated. I tried with glaze here to get something and put the yellow on top. It wasn't really dry, so it was green at the end. Yeah. Now, on the bottom I'm using a green, a lighter one, and an olive green. What I wanted to have a landscape scenery, and I wanted to have it really bright and sun flooded, and so the blue wasn't really working for me. And you will see I will cover it, and you know who needs a blue sky, and who says that the sky always has to be blue? So on my piece it's yellow, orange, very bright. It's all sun. That's what I need at the moment. So it was so awful, the weather yesterday when I made it. But today the sun came out and it's so nice. I just sit here in my working place and the sun shines through the window. That's so beautiful. So my mood changed completely. Today I wouldn't do something completely different. And I think it works with all of you, and it depends on in which mood you are. What you're doing is completely different, or could be completely different the next day. That's why I sometimes, when I do something and I got stuck, I leave it and I come back later to it, because you get sometimes a completely different idea, and that helps often. Very rarely I don't have to throw something away, of course not, but sometimes I hate that stuff and I throw it away. Don't want to keep it. So to have even more shine and even more sun to it, I used this Ray stencil from Tim Holtz and put some Wing of Stella brush on top. With my Wing of Stella brush, put some shine on top. Wasn't that visible or obvious, so at the end you will see that on the pictures I'm putting up. I put some triple gloss. This triple gloss I'm using from Deco Art Reiher to make it even more shinier. And I wanted to accentuate the barbed wire with my new favorite thing here, the wax paste, the silver wax paste. And I started with this brush. It was awful. I think it would have taken me ages to finish that, and my brush would have been ruined. So I tried this cosmetic cotton bud, and that worked. Worked much better. And I didn't use my fingers, actually. You can rub that in with the finger perfectly, but this time I didn't use it because I wanted to have that wax only on the wire. So, and now for the scenery in the middle, I used this stem from Stampin' Up, and the ink is STAS-On Settled Brown, and stamped it right into the middle. And the nice thing with this stamp is that these trees are grounded already, and that makes it's a finished scene, you know. It's not floating somewhere in the picture, but they are autumn trees, so I gave them some leaves in olive and in a lighter green to make it look a bit more springy. The next layer, I like that much better. But this stamp is really nice. I use it so often. Absolutely perfect for card making as well. So, what did I do next? Oh, I think I start with my washes already. Yeah, I here used the Rub and Buff in black for these washes. They looked far too shiny. You know, I wanted to use them that should look that, or it looks like they taken this or holding this wire apart. And I try to make them look a bit older with this Rub and Buff in black, but I will change that a little bit because they're still looking too nice. We'll see that later, what I'm doing to it. I really need to have a look into how I can rust metal in a normal way without putting some stuff on top, that they're really rusty, naturally rusty. And here I have some wire to connect the washes with. And the only wire I have actually is very silver shiny one. It's silver actually, you know, for jewelry. So The only thing I could find then was this wire inside a paper-wrapped ribbon type of stuff. I ripped the paper off, and that's not very shiny, and it looks a bit shabby, and that was perfect. Done that to the other side as well. And I did some shading to the wire, and here I used the, I don't know if you know that pencil, it's a Stabilo Oil. It's you can use it on any surface actually. It's writing on everything. It's water soluble, and it is a bit it's a bit combination of crayon and graphite, and yeah, I really recommend it. It's fantastic to work with. And with this white china pen, I try to get this edge there a bit more shiny, a bit more light. So because I couldn't blend it with my fingers properly, I used this blending stump. And that worked. That was okay. I really would like to have this from this Pitt pen in white, this big brush from Faber-Castell. Can't get it somewhere. It's awful. And as I said, the washers didn't look really shabby to me, so I used this rusty powder I have, and normally it doesn't stick to metal, only to paper and wood and cardboard. But because of the rubber buff, it stuck to that, and it looks quite good. And here you can already see which word I use, and it's hope, of course. I really hoped for good weather, and as I said, it was like a little prayer. The sun came out today, yay! It works. I should always make works like that when the weather is bad. It seems to work. I only used here yellow and orange acrylic paint. I wanted to have them very bright and shiny. And I put some triple gloss on top afterwards, off camera actually, but you can see that on the photos at the end. Glued them down with glossy accent. Of course, you need a bit of weight on top. For a moment, it really glues well, but for a little moment to hold it down. And here I'm shading again with my Stabilo Oil, and use a water tank brush. And I wanted to accentuate the letters, I think, and use this Pitt pen in a fine liner on top. Wasn't working. A bit stubborn, but at the end it worked. And I used this sketchy lines, not a clean line, very sketchy, to give them more, to make them pop more. Nothing special. And oh yeah, I thought I need a bit more shading on the bottom in white, and I used my white Posca fine liner for that. As I said, they arrived in Switzerland and I can't buy them here unlimited, so I use it quite often. You know, some stuff I can't really get here. It's very difficult for me to get it, and I'm really carefully to use it, but this one now, unlimited use. And my wax paste, I used that to etch the piece, and I think that was it. That was the last bit I put on, and to me I was finished then. So you can see the photos at the end. I hoped you liked it, and I thank for watching, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye.